Jason, I'm sure you've been through a few Twitter annual meetings, and this will surely be unlike any other. What are you expecting?
This sort of feels like the Ragnarok of Twitter annual meetings, where there's only sort of one option that shareholders are looking for, which is to know that the deal is going to go through. Because now the deal price looks like this amazing deal, and the rest of the world has melted down. And I think the questions are just going to be, can I get my money now?
And can Twitter's board really answer that question?
I think the most important answer they can assert is that there's no such thing as the deal being on hold. And this is what the GC Vijay said in a Twitter meeting, the contents of which was leaked, that there's no such thing as the deal being on hold. We have a deal for the price that we agreed to, and we are committed to executing this deal, and we will force compliance and execution of this deal if we have to.
So is Elon Musk just bluffing?
Well, I don't know. I think it's interesting that he's been quiet on Twitter for the last little while about this. I maybe, losing $70 billion of your own net worth by posting about Twitter proved to be even a little expensive for the world's richest man, or he just figured he was just creating more work for his lawyers and the inevitable litigation that comes out of this. But I think that he doesn't. I think sometimes folks think that there's these, plans within plans or feints within feints, and there's this 5-dimensional chess that people are playing. And I really think that Elon realized that a lot of his argument about why he was buying the company just wasn't holding water, and he was taking heat from so many sides that he realized it would maybe just be better to be a little quiet about this and hope for a better position later.
We've also learned more details about just how this deal came about, how it started with Elon talking to Jack directly, then became a discussion about him joining the board fairly quickly. What do you find most significant about the timeline?
I mean, this is all from Twitter's proxy filing. This isn't based on internal reporting or any sort of confidential sources. This is according to Twitter's own executives and board and lawyers what happened. And what happened, according to them, was that Jack and Elon initiated a conversation on March 26th to pursue a strategy of, Elon says, I'm interested in buying some shares. I want to, and Jack says, okay, let's turn it over to the board and we can see about getting you on the board. He puts them in conversation with Parag and with Brett Taylor, the hand-picked folks that Jack has said is going to lead the company to the next level of execution. And they agree to a standstill provision that prevents Elon from acquiring more shares. And they agree to put Elon on the board. They execute this agreement with Elon on the 4th of April. The next day, on the 5th of April, they announce this deal. The very same day, Jack re-enters the picture with Elon and has a conversation with him in which, according to the filing, he shared his personal view that Twitter would be better able to focus on execution as a private company. And then the deal is completely off to put Elon on the board, and Elon says he wants to take it to be a private company. So that to me is just a clear backstabbing of the board by the founder when they had a deal in hand to come to a standstill.
So do you think there should be any consequences to that if you believe that, as you're saying, Jack backstabbed the board?
What I'm saying is that we need to look at the comments that Jack has made here previously. He's always been committed to this notion of Twitter should exist as a protocol and not a platform or a company, and that he's also said later that the board is the greatest dysfunction in the history of the company and that there shouldn't be a CEO. But somehow he convinced himself that he's going to turn over this company to the world's richest man as a way of achieving this glorious decentralized transition to a protocol. That to me just doesn't make a lot of sense. And there's nothing that Elon has said that shows that he's committed to this protocol future. In fact, he published this fairly ridiculous business plan that shows the type of product that he wants to build on the other side of this acquisition. And so I think the questions that I would ask if I were at the shareholder meeting is what was really going on in those conversations between Elon and Jack and Elon and the board, because I think that really affects shareholder value here.
Now, last time you joined us, you said you felt that Twitter faced a not good outcome either way. Do you still believe that, given that the price that Elon and Twitter agreed on is actually much higher than the price at which Twitter is trading at today?
It would be a great outcome for shareholders of Twitter. That's undisputed. And you can't, I thought Jasmine did a great job table setting sort of the vibe that's out here right now in the Valley in terms of what we're headed into. It's very much a 2000 dot bust feeling in the air. And, graybeards like myself are sort of counseling younger folks talking about the last bust as though it was the Dust Bowl or something. And, like when we didn't have crawdad, we ate sand and here's how you survive and all this sort of received wisdom from the last the last bust. And so there's a lot of feeling that will be a great outcome for shareholders. It's, however, not a great outcome for the product. It's not a great outcome for employees. So because Elon's plans for what he would do with it have proven to be so unserious that he's just simply shut up about them on Twitter altogether.
How worried are you about the future of social media in general, given what we just saw with Snap and what Jasmine had to say about slowing user growth? Is that coming for Twitter?
Yes, I think that's coming. I think that is a real macroeconomic effect. And I think there is some validity to the point that the social media moment that we've had for the last 15 years is reaching some sort of endpoint, particularly in terms of how it's valued by the stock market, but maybe even just more generally in terms of what users want. And maybe folks migrate instead of being in these arenas of public combat where you have to contend with, just everyone all at once, maybe folks are looking for more private experiences or semi-public experiences. And maybe there's a new evolution of social media to come. As someone who's not a shareholder and not an employee, this is actually somewhat exciting to me because I think we've been in a frozen moment for social media and user experience, and it would be great to see some new experiences come out of this. And as we know, a lot of the best companies have been built during these downturns, have been built in the wake of these big corrections. So that is a potential upside to all of this.